Yeah.
If people don't like the informality, they can shove off.
They can shove off. They can get stuck. They can.
That's right. Shove off.
Piss. How about this one? Piss off.
Well, that one too.
I want you guys to talk like that the whole evening.
Yeah. Right.
I just keep seeing things like, bugger the lot of you.
People would tune out after about 5 minutes. All right, I've had enough of that.
Yeah,
and they would conclude, even though we're both sober, that we're completely drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, wow, those guys are drunk already.
Jesus, they really do have a problem. It's worse than we suspected. Well, I'm setting out a whole bunch of stuff here. Who knows what
I'm trying to figure out how to share this on Twitter to see if we can,
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Hey,
the more the merrier.
Might as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a banner. Oh, banner.
Wow, I'm wearing my shirt too, but I'm wearing
Yay!
Nice. I'm wearing my Black Christmas sweatshirt.
Right.
I'm wearing a lot more logo. This is what I want.
A lot more logo?
No, I'm looking at all the things on the side of this, like, ooh, this is cool. We can do backgrounds. We can do all sorts of stuff.
I know. If we do it again, right? We can.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay. It says there's.
Hey, there we are.
Oh.
There we are. Where? Where are we, Dave?
Oh, can you see us on YouTube?
This is curious. There's a slight delay.
Oh, yeah, there's like a 5 or 6 second, well, maybe even longer than that delay.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That must be disconcerting to you, Dave.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the volume off on YouTube so I can at least see if anybody or anything comes up there.
Yeah, so what you can see too on the side, actually here, we'll do, so if anyone comments, live comments, they'll show up here in the bottom.
It looks like we have people commenting already.
Hello.
It might be me.
And all I see is the pink screen.
You've got a pink screen?
Yeah, I've
you gotta
got
click on it.
Yeah, with the logo. I don't have I don't have the live stream, even in a delayed form.
So it's like Monster Movie Luddite Hour.
Yeah,
all of us. So I got to show you the paints that I got. So I got a new detail brush. So I like the teeny tiny ones.
Mm-hmm.
Boop.
Perfect.
And then I got a brain matter beige. I got leather brown because this is a McCready color. It's gonna be a McCready color.
Yes.
Babe blonde. All of the they don't have just like yellow or the primary colors. So this one, it's primary yellow is babe blonde.
Naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
So I used to be blonde.
Hey, Daniel Gowell.
Hello. Thank you.
So. Like I said, I've still got the screen that Mary posted on Twitter. Is there some way to activate the actual live feed or
via YouTube? You mean?
Yeah. Go on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, just go to YouTube separately.
Well, that's what I did, but I'll try it over. I'll do it over.
I feel sorry for Daniel's thinking. If you want comments to show, you have to activate them. Okay.
Yeah. So I got. That? Yep. So, ta-da!
Yay! All right. We're still trying to figure out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, this is Dan from Master Shake.
Yay! We love you, Dan.
Hi, Dan. I'm posting this on the link on Twitter, just in case.
So I'm going to mess around for just a moment here, since we're supposedly painting, right?
Yeah.
Dave, what are you painting?
I'm painting everything, Mary.
Painting it.
I want to work on this Frankenstein Aurora kit that I got from Scott and put together, a year or two ago, and have never quite finished him up. So
Ooh.
That's my big plan for tonight, actually.
Yeah, because Scott got that, or no, Dave, you got that one, and then Scott, you got
Creature from
the Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's like when he was swimming.
Yes,
right. That's a
swimming
cool one.
It is.
The surface.
I can't decide whether I want to do Pinhead or Elvira. I think I have to go Elvira.
Dan wants to hear about the Frankenstein mini story. Well, if only we could tell. Actually, we've got a couple different Frankenstein miniatures. We've got, of course, there's this plastic kit, but Scott, do you have the 28 millimeter miniature that we just got from that English company?
Yes, although I'm going to have to reattach the arm.
Oh, good Lord.
And it looks, neither of my cameras will allow for a good close-up, so, but here it is.
Well, it's nice and white.
It looks like it's glowing from another dimension.
Exactly.
Just like us.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Seriously.
So
I think anybody who stays with us for more than 10 minutes deserves an award of some kind.
Yes.
You know.
So.
But I can say this with this model kit, I did a certain amount of customizing to create more texture, and it's probably really hard to tell here with the camera, but I sculpted some holes in the clothing, tore up the cuffs, blew out a seam here or there, and then did something a little bit. I sculpted some stonework down here on the base, just to make it a little more of my own. And I haven't touched this in a couple of years now, so right now I'm just kind of gently working a little bit of a gray over the seam to make it stand out.
So yeah, didn't Scott get you that, or when did Scott get you that?
I don't remember now. Even I don't remember.
Scott is the bringer of gifts. Scott is notorious as the bringer of gifts. He's always
behold.
Yes.
He's always buying our silence in one way or another.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
But
don't tell.
This is for Dan. So I'm making an ecto cooler cocktail, but I'm using rum agricole, and it's cool. It's good. It's from 11 Wells, which is a distillery in St. Paul. That's really cool. But it's pretty funky.
Hey, Dan says we technically have 2 streams. How the heck did that happen?
Weird.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Oh, it said it was live.
Okay.
You guys keep painting. I'll figure this out.
Okay.
I can do it.
Good luck with that.
We should eliminate one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Because well, this will be a fun adventure.
Well, fun for us.
That's Dan's now our offsite tech guy as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Aren't you lucky?
The pink screen isn't live. Okay, so this one's the one that I shared on Twitter is live. I'm gonna figure this out.
So what? The YouTube one is not working right currently?
Or I think what had happened was it posted twice accidentally.
Well, I am currently watching us on YouTube, so we are there.
Yeah, so we're on the right one, but I think there's another one on here.
An imposter.
There's 12 people on there. Good God.
What?
Wow. What's wrong with these people?
No, this is the one that I'm seeing. Okay, never mind. I don't know what's going on. John's here.
Hey, John.
Hello, John. John was promoting us heavily today.
John's on the right one now, he says. Thank God.
Yay. I'll share the right one again on Twitter.
Well, and conversely, we should shut down the wrong one.
I can't. That's the thing. I can't find the wrong one.
Oh.
Let's see here. Videos. Yeah, all I can see is the one Monster Mini Happy Hour.
Okay.
That's what I call it. Monster Mini Happy Hour. I thought that was cute.
Well, how is there two?
Hello.
Hey, Alex is there too, huh?
I'm not sure how there's two. I'm just gonna post technical difficulties and.
Yes.
What were the odds that we would have technical difficulties?
We should plan for it always.
Yeah. Well,
that's fine. So I thought of a few questions that we could ask each other to talk about during this evening. Because I know we've talked about this a little bit before. There goes my cocktail thinger. Send this to another page. Okay, weird. John's telling us what's going on.
okay, thanks.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, save our butts.
Yeah.
Hello, Pants Ninja.
Hello. It's a pants party now.
It is. Mary, are you in the new office?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm in my new office. So, okay.
Home office.
It's very messy because I was doing stuff, but I'm on my new sewing desk. It's the only piece of furniture in the room. I bought a desk off of. I'm knocking everything over. I bought a desk on Facebook Marketplace the other day, but I can't pick it up until the 16th. So at some point I'll have a desk with a desktop computer, which is currently sitting down in my living room. I feel like as I finish each room, I slowly unfuck one bit of my life.
Here.
It goes bit by bit by bit.
That's right.
And so now I feel slightly less chaotic and a little bit more like I have my shit together, even though obviously I don't. As I drop everything.
I was gonna say it's like you're like Inspector Clouseau or something over there.
Good Lord.
Keep hearing things fall down.
I've got all of my they're sprawled out. It's a tiny little desk. It's a little sewing desk. Give me a break, Scott.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm the mean one.
You are not. You're so hard on yourself.
I'm the one that makes everybody feel bad.
No, you are not. Everyone says that you're like the biggest hype person on Twitter. Anytime something goes wrong, you are always there to be supportive and kind.
Oh,
see, that's what people think of you.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good thing. Hey, Pants Ninja, tell Dr. West that we said hello.
Hello, Dr. West.
There's a guy who's supportive of everybody.
That's right.
Yes.
Good thing. So I don't know about you guys. Like I said, I opted to go with this larger figure instead of painting my little guys. Partly because I can't find my magnifying glasses right now. And it's really hard to see the little fellers without them.
Scott, Dan called you Squire.
Well, that's good. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Hi, Katie.
Katie's here too?
Yeah.
Where's Katie?
And Dave, you're also the best.
Oh, really? Wow. Who said that?
John. And John says Mary is oddly enough also the best. Very oddly.
All three of us. Ah. Hey, Katie, how you doing?
Very egalitarian.
I would be really curious to know if anybody out there, if anybody else is going to, join in and work on some of their own projects.
They have normal hobbies for normal people.
This is a normal hobby.
Normal is relative. I think we all agree, right?
You tell yourself that.
Yeah. And I think
this is completely normal.
Yeah.
Katie, how's the White Russian?
She says she's doing great.
So Scott gave us with his many gifts, dropped off Ecto Cooler, honest to God Ecto Cooler the other day. But Scott, you have to look at how I'm pouring it. I made a little hole in the thing, and so it's like ooh as I pour it on my.
Oh, see now, I was planning. I haven't made my drink yet. I was planning to cut it open and then pour it in a glass or something like that.
Oh, see, I'm doing it the fun way. It says don't pour that. Why not?
It's kind of like milking a cow.
Or so they say.
Sort of.
Miranda says Miranda, who's your favorite? What serial killer interests you the most?
Well,
Ooh.
I don't follow any things online, but hey, who doesn't like? I know one that people haven't heard of.
Which one?
Have people heard of Howard Unruh?
No.
Oh.
Howard Unruh. He was a mass murderer, but he did all of his killing in about a half an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that happen?
Well, this is not what we're supposed to be talking about.
We can talk about whatever we please.
So
We can even swear if we want to.
Yeah. Fuck.
All right, that's enough.
All right. Mary's in high school again.
Hey, James Gill, I can believe you've got a lot of minis and models on your desk right now that are half done, because all three of us have got loads of unpainted plastic and metal.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a common problem, isn't it?
I didn't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
Hey, James, what kind of minis do you paint, James? Hello.
Oh, Daniel, you're right. She will call me from the future.
Yeah.
That happened because she was up here while I was editing the podcast the other day, and I thought, okay, she's going to hear certain words that she doesn't normally hear.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
So my granddaughter Hazel knows that Mary likes to drop the F-bomb.
If I leave a legacy, let it be this.
That's right.
Well,
That's
see,
right.
this is Dave failing as a grandparent
Oh, I have many failings as a grandparent.
by letting his grandchildren hear us use profanities and talk about things that are not meant for children to hear. You know.
Well, I also have taught them how to make us a variety of cocktails, and you know what? They're actually pretty good at it. And the fact that the two eldest ones are in second grade is potentially a problem, but
well, I got to tell you, my friend Dave, a different Dave, who does wet plate photography, has two daughters and a third on the way who are all extremely hilarious and very punk. And they were playing Uno the other day, and he sent a message and was talking about this to a group of friends, and Dave beat her at Uno, or no, they put down a card or something like that, and his daughter says, "Hey, I've got something for you," and pulls out her middle finger and goes, "Fuck you!"
Wow.
She's like 7.
That's nice. Great. Fabulous.
See, look at Scott just got his back up.
Yeah. Oh boy.
No,
yeah.
That's right. James
It's
says D&D.
time.
Yeah, D&D, Kingdom Death, Crisis Protocol, a little bit of everything. Yeah, outstanding. And I see that. Let's see, Daniel. Did you say that you have a couple of mechs, 2 BattleTech mechs? Yeah, good for you.
Where am I supposed to see all these messages? Oh, there.
You can see it in part of the live stream.
Oh, here we go.
Those plus
There
4
we
cards
go.
are. Okay, I also have to run away for a second because I grabbed everything I needed except for a glass. So unless you want to watch me pour a drink out of this, I'll be right back.
You know what? Actually, Mary, I think we all would.
It would be very, very cold.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
probably. Most of my miniature collection is actually historical figures from, everything from the Dark Ages up to the Second World War, and with a heavy emphasis on the American Revolution and the Civil War and things like that. But as a monster kid, it is such a treat to be able to work on a model kit like this Frankenstein's monster, or the figures that Scott is working on. I think Mary are some metal miniatures that we got from England. Just we got them for Christmas, didn't we? Yeah. And I may switch over to them.
My low quality camera.
Well, the problem is they are, they're 28 millimeters, so they're like an inch tall. Yeah, into Mary's open maw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I've actually got to
It
step
wouldn't be the
away
first
from it
time.
myself. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
I've got
except she has to mix the drink, so she
Okay,
has to
so
hold her
this
mouth
also
open.
looks
And
That's
this
true.
looks really cool too, Scott. Cheers to both of you. Thank you for the ecto cooler, my friend.
Hey,
you
here,
should add,
here.
you should
Cheers.
add that it's what 4 years old.
I think it might even be like 4 years expired.
Yeah, it's 4 years expired.
Well, it tastes good.
Yeah, well,
Or that, or the alcohol is masked.
there's
Yeah.
probably enough preservatives in there to last until we're all dead. So
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
Katie, I think they do. I think they just gargle their drinks, right?
They just pour rum back there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I finally
I'll
listened
be back
to
in a
the
moment.
Okie dokie. I was listening to the Wellerman, the sea shanty that like went viral, and it's really good. Botulism is good for the soul. It doesn't smell weird. That's the thing, because I smelled it before. I feel like that's where, like, if this smelled strange, I wouldn't drink it. Probably. Probably.
yeah. Hey, James, we'll post a link or we'll post something for where these minis came from. I can't remember the name of the company right now, but
Yeah, but they've got a lot of them. So the one that I'm starting, Scott, which one are you working on?
I'm working on one of the Nazi zombies.
Cool.
Dave and I got 20 of them and split them.
That'll be
Not literally. Just,
we're splitting some Nazi zombies. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
better dead than alive.
I don't know about that. I'd rather have to shoot at a live opponent than a zombie. That'd be scary.
I
But
don't
I
know.
feel like unless they, but are these zombies? Are they the fast zombies? Are they the runners? You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter.
They goose step, Mary.
I-
Yeah, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck and steps like a goose, it's a Nazi zombie.
you got that right, my dear.
I also know that at least I'm relatively certain that an actual vintage zombie or vintage Nazi would not try to eat my brain. So,
Oh,
you know,
weird.
there's that. Uh-oh, what's weird, Mary?
Oh no, sorry, I'm just looking at the color. I need to mix it more. I got necromancer cloak because I didn't want flat black.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Yep, I'm with
I
you.
feel like because flat black it'll always look off, right?
Exactly.
I agree with
Well, I mean,
Katie.
it's fun to have something, a little more interesting. Fascism is bad at any speed, shambling or otherwise.
Yeah,
Hey, here.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
should be on a bumper sticker.
Yeah,
I'm going
absolutely.
to say cheers. There we go. Cheers.
Yeah. Ooh, Dave,
I
that
agree
looks
with that.
great.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good too.
All right, well, I'll probably follow suit here shortly since you guys have all got glasses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what color I want to do my groundwork here.
I think the other one that I might do some stuff on, Dave, is I have McCready here.
Oh yeah.
I found fake snow. I didn't buy any, but I might do fake snow, and then I might put them in a little landscape of fake snow.
You know what you can do? You can glue powdered. You can spray. You can use powdered sugar.
Really?
You should
And
be.
will it stay white?
If you pour or paint it with lacquer or something
Okay.
like that.
Dan asked if we paint our D&D minis. Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Dave even painted. If anyone's played, what's it called?
Mansions of Madness.
Mansions of Madness. Yeah, they come with a bunch of cool minis.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's
Cheers, James.
Yeah, cheers, James.
I'm gonna go get what I need to do to finish my drink or make my drink. Otherwise, I'll be cranky and I won't be like all the cool kids. And
Okay.
So you did bring the ecto cooler, sir. So I
well,
think you're the coolest out of all of us.
yeah, I don't know about that.
For better or worse, you're about as cool as we get, Scott.
Well, that's a
You
very
say, Scott, we're spending
commentary.
a Thursday night painting miniatures
Yeah,
on the internet.
yeah, exactly. That's a very sad commentary. I'll be back
No,
in
it's
just
not.
one
It's
moment.
very cool.
You tell your
Just
All right, go
think
away,
about
sir.
think
Go
of
get
all
your
the
drink.
all the possible activities one can do on a live stream these days,
Yeah.
this is probably not top amongst them. So to anybody who's still even bothering to watch or listen, cheers to you.
Oh, Dan's getting fancy with cheap Japanese, or sorry, not cheap, neat Japanese whiskey. Japanese whiskey is not cheap. And cheers, Pants Ninja.
Here.
Yes, Katie asked, didn't Ecto Cooler come back for a second to promote the newish Ghostbusters movie?
I don't remember.
It did, yeah. I think they did. I think this is actually where this came from, because so Scott got this. The story of how Scott got this Ecto Cooler is very, very funny.
There is a certain amount of larceny and bloodshed involved, however.
Of course, as always. So one of our collective mutual friends, do you know this story, Dave?
No, I don't.
We did soccer club with folks from Fort Snelling recently.
Oh, that's right.
And Will Holmes, Scott made some sort of an Ecto Cooler joke, or I don't know. He referenced Ecto Cooler, and Will jumped on it, of course, and said, "I'm going to find Ecto Cooler and send it to your house, Scott." And so he ordered Ecto Cooler on eBay, got Scott's address, and had him send and had Ecto Cooler sent to Scott's house. And Scott didn't know if it was someone that we knew on Twitter and that we knew through the podcast. And so he sent back a sticker to the vendor.
Oh, I love it.
Which is great. I think it's so sweet.
Yep. Well, especially considering the Mr. Holmes in question is a very enthusiastic young man.
Yes. J. Robert Clark, hello. Yes, we had technical difficulties and couldn't figure out where to send people.
Yay!
Thanks
Robert,
for doing this.
Robert, I am really enjoying your YouTube channel, and I'm learning lots of stuff every time.
Yeah, I want to. We're growing a type of kale that grows. It's called. Oh shoot, what's it called? Walking stick kale, and it's supposed to grow like 10 feet. And I want to try the kale wood thing that you did, Robert, because it seems really cool, and there would be a lot of it. So, Dave, how are you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm sorry. I'm totally absorbed in laying down a base coat for the ground here. I just don't want it to be brown, but I need to get a base coat down so then I can come back and put in some highlights and some stains, and I'm going to add some burnt or some dead grass and twigs and things like that too. But no, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, Dave. So one question that I was thinking of, and I know we've talked about this before. Maybe what was your first monster movie that you watched?
Well, the one that truly stands out in my mind in terms of making a genuine impression is, in all likelihood, The Birds.
Hitchcock.
Technically not a monster movie, but man, scared the bejesus out of me. And when I was 6, I was taken to a drive-in theater by my dear aunt, who took me to see Ray Harryhausen's Valley of Gwangi, the dinosaur cowboy movie with the great stop motion effects, and then that was a double feature. So as a 6-year-old, I saw the movie Trog with Joan Crawford in one of her last starring roles. Not a great movie, but I'm going to force these guys to put it on the podcast sometime.
I think that'd be fun.
Well, it's a guilty pleasure movie. If we admit that there is such a term as a guilty pleasure, I just genuinely enjoy it myself, largely because I view it through the eyes of that 6-year-old kid who saw it at a drive-in theater with my aunt, who I absolutely adored.
Yeah, because this is the aunt that would take you to movies, right?
Yep, and she taught me how to swear and all that good stuff.
Just like I'm teaching Hazel.
Exactly. Yep.
Oops.
So, Mary, what is... listen to that. J. Robert Clark. Well, my knowledge is broad, but only about an eighth of an inch deep. Mary, what is your first horror movie?
My first horror / monster movie was Jurassic Park.
I was pretty sure you were going to go there.
Yes.
Because
That's a sad story.
It's a great story. So
Terrible story.
I think people know this.
Yes, they know it's your disgraceful parental units.
When you meet them, I'm excited to see you give them absolute hell.
That's what I'm gonna do. They'll hate me.
No, they won't.
Well, they might a little bit.
Just a tiny bit. Okay, so I must have been, we were living in Rochester, Minnesota at the time. I'm not from Minnesota. My dad was in the Air Force and he was working for
A super secret intelligence organization.
Yeah, called Mayo Clinic.
That's right.
And so we live in
That was just a cover.
Yeah. So which he's he's still a super secret agent man or whatever.
Yep.
And so we were in Rochester and I was very, very young. I think I was maybe 5. And we got Jurassic Park came out and we got it on VHS and my dad showed it to us. Again, I must have been 5 or 6. I think I must have been 5. And which made a huge impression on me because the music and like I saw Laura Dern and she was so cool and exciting and you know it really made a huge impression on me and it was fucking terrifying because people get eaten by tyrannosaurs, you know, by a T-Rex, like the velociraptors were absolutely terrifying. And I remember because my brother, I think I had 2 brothers at that point. 2 of my younger brothers have been born. I'm the oldest of 6, so there's 6 of us total. And I remember thinking there's that scene in the kitchen where
perfect for small children.
Right. Well, I remember thinking like, oh shit, like if we get attacked by dinosaurs, like I'm gonna have to hide my brother in an oven. I was like strategizing as a child, like, all right, I guess we'll go in the oven, but only if the dinosaurs are here.
What's wrong with dressing up like Ian Malcolm? Somebody says that they want to do that for Halloween, and
that is Dan's lovely wife, and Dan, and Miranda, you should.
That's terrible. That's perfectly all right.
And John says Mary is likely the wonderful person she is largely because her parents showed her stuff like Jurassic Park at age 5, which I agree.
Just think about how much nicer Mary would be if she wasn't damaged by seeing that movie at 5 years old.
Oh, there is so much more that damaged me, Scott. Let me count the ways. Yeah. But Jurassic Park was the big one for me, and it still has. I mean, it makes me cry. I think it's a beautiful movie. It's one of the best movies of all time. The soundtrack is incredible and glorious and just wonderful. But I asked my dad recently. I was like, "What the hell were you thinking?" Like I was 5.
Right.
And he said, and my dad's a doctor and a scientist. He's a geneticist. And he said, and I quote, "It seemed like a good idea because you learned about DNA because of the little guy." And he's like, "It's educational." Like, okay, I guess.
I can't entirely disagree with him.
And I can't either. I think it's just very funny that he's like, "Huh, we've got some good stuff about DNA. Let me show my 4-year-old."
What's that, about 4 minutes of the film, if that?
Oh, less for sure. But formative nonetheless.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Scott,
left a mark, that's for sure.
Oh, certainly. Scott, what's your first monster movie?
That would be the movie Conga.
Oh, yes.
About a giant gorilla in London that I saw when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And the one, at least it's the one that I can remember, was right around the time that I started being interested in these sorts of things. But
These
You know,
sorts of things.
it was back when actual dinosaurs were still around and Millard Fillmore was the president because
I thought you were more of a Garfield guy.
because my mother drove me to the theater in downtown Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, and then dropped me off all by myself, and I must have been 5 or 6.
See,
No,
that's way
no,
more.
no.
That is way more traumatic.
No, it's not. It's
Yes,
a
it
different
is.
time totally. It's not. It was. This was again. You know, this was when. No, there's no comparison. So don't even talk about my sainted mother.
Oh dear.
Robert says Scott kills me. See, Scott, everyone loves you. You're the heart and soul of the Monster Movie Happy Hour.
Yeah.
Scott did almost kill me once. I mean, there is that.
There's
When did that
pictures of
happen?
that. There's pictures of that.
That's
I
right.
posted it recently.
When you were
Strangling me at the front gate of the fort.
Choking Dave to death, or attempting to.
Yes.
James says, did you see there's a new Conga model kit coming from Monarch Models?
Ooh, bring it on.
I did see that.
Bring
Which
it on.
sounds like something you guys need.
Which is basically a model of someone in a horrible gorilla suit, which is fine.
Yeah.
I like gorilla suits just fine. So
Sure.
Like Psycho Ape?
yeah, exactly.
Hey, I haven't seen that yet. Who's seen Psycho Ape?
It's fun. I've seen it.
Really?
It is. Oh, it's absurd. It's very, very silly and really good. And Darcy reviewed it. Addison posted a review that Darcy, our beloved Darcy the Mail Girl, did on her blog, and it was really good and super
Wait,
nice.
is Crystal Quinn in this?
I don't think she's in this one.
Okay.
I think this is a different one. Addison is
Are there-
from Michigan, maybe. I don't know. I
One of those
assume,
states
I
that
assume
starts with M. It could be Montana.
I assume everyone is from Michigan at this point.
That's great because they're the most common. Wow.
There's no, that's not true. There's lots of Midwest monster kids.
There are. Hey, Alex says, didn't Scott's dad say he was, quote, devoid of intelligence or something cruel?
No. I don't remember exactly how the conversation was. Oh, we were doing an episode where I said it looked like Mary was deep in thought, and
Yes.
she said something to the effect of, "No, I'm not." And she said, "You look like you're deep in thought." And I said, "No, much like my father would sometimes say, I'm entirely devoid of thought."
Oh, so not quite the same as being devoid of intelligence.
No, he you know, the other thing that he would say is that my hands were made of lead. That was the other thing.
Really? Why would he say that?
Because it had to do with my productivity when doing yard work.
Ah,
Oh, all right.
Scott,
So-
I think you should tell. Oh, we've told that story so many times of
Yes.
how your
Yes,
dad would show up
like
show
so
up
many
to your
stories.
house. The other story that I like about your dad is what a sigh. Tim's here. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Yes, indeed.
And John says John is indeed from Minnesota. He's Minnesota Mutants for the win. Fading Arcader. Yep.
There's a lot of us.
Oh yeah.
Or
Minnesota.
or at least adopted Minnesotans.
Yes,
Well-
I think I own property here. I think I get to claim the title.
That's true, but the three of us are not originally from Minnesota.
No, so Dave, you tell everyone where you're from.
Well, I actually most of my childhood was spent just across the border in Wisconsin, so I'm not that far away. And then we moved quite a bit as a kid, but I got home after putting in 4 years in the Marines, and at the time my first wife and I decided to move to Minnesota because I was doing work on actually I was working on commercial sets and stuff, and it involved driving out to Paisley Park, which is where Prince had his studio. And, you know, I was driving an hour and 15 minutes every day, so we decided just to split the difference. Moved to Minnesota. I ultimately got divorced, remarried, love of my life, and here I am. So there you go.
Yay!
So thanks, Prince, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
So I feel like we all need to thank Prince every day.
Of course. That's right.
Our daily devotions. Scott,
Yeah.
where are you? Scott, you got to say where you're from originally now.
Your collection point for all Midwesterns, Michigan.
Wow.
The land of the enchanted mitten.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah. I was born in a classical city named
Thebes.
close.
Yes.
I was born in a town called Ithaca.
Ooh, that is very classically named.
Where Odysseus is from.
Correct.
Nice. You kids and your classical knowledge.
But I spent most of my time, or I'm not. That's not true. I spent most of my early childhood in a town called a suburb of Detroit called Royal Oak, which makes me even more inclined towards being an Anglophile than I might otherwise be.
Oh, I hear
Yes.
some.
Yes, whose house that's by, I don't
That's
know.
mine. Yeah,
Dave's in South Minneapolis.
there's a German Stuka about to
Yes,
do a run on our house.
Yeah, it's because those Nazi zombies.
right.
Hey, let's see. Daniel says Ithaca, Michigan. He teaches there.
Oh, really?
Oh, no way.
Yep. And of course, Robert says, how many Midwesterners are here tonight? He's from Cincinnati. Oh, Royal Oak is the home of Bruce Campbell and the Ramies? Is that so?
Yes, I knew that.
I
Yep.
didn't know that.
But
Oh,
not-
Scott, Jesus, you practically are royalty.
Not while I was there. I was
You didn't
gone.
hang out with them and make movies?
No, when I lived in Royal Oak, I was up until I was about 4 years old. So
All right. Well,
wasn't doing too much cool back then.
I say if the opportunity comes, we lean into that and claim it.
Okay.
Yes, it is,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is ours now.
Just say I missed you by a few years, Bruce. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dan offered a cocktail recipe for ecto coolers.
Oh, fire away.
So it's a quarter of an ounce simple syrup, 1 ounce of tangerine juice, 2 ounces of aged rum, half an ounce of blue curacao, shake, strain, and garnish with an orange slice.
That sounds good.
And then Tim says, Daddy Man also lived in Royal Oak, as did I. Huh.
Okay.
Everyone, see, I told you, Scott. I feel like this confirms my theory that everyone is from Michigan.
Okay. So I will post my recipe at some point later. Here is my concoction, which has 3 ounces of tangerine juice in it. 3 ounces of. I made it. I made it today.
What? You made your own? You juiced your own tangerines?
Wow.
Yeah, because the recipe originally called for tangerine flavored rum, and I didn't have any, and that's a seasonal thing. So I just made my own tangerine juice.
I'm glad to hear it, Scott. Actually, I'm impressed.
Oh, James.
James is in Pennsylvania. That's quite all right.
James, although I live in Minnesota, I am from Pennsylvania. We moved around a lot. My dad was in the Air Force, so I've lived in Alaska, California, Rochester, Minnesota for a very short time when I was young, Maryland, Virginia in the Shenandoah Valley, Southern Illinois, and then here.
Mary and I have lived in several states the same. So
right, because Scott, you've lived in Pennsylvania. You were in Slippery Rock.
Correct. And I also lived in Maryland. So
we're in Maryland. I've asked you this, but I forget.
You
were in Silver Spring, right? Okay,
Silver Spring. Yeah.
I was in Ellicott City as a very young kid, and then we were in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, until I moved out 10 years ago. 10 years ago this year, when I went to college.
Hooray!
Yes, and the Pants Ninja. Okay, so there's lots of Pennsylvania here. Neat.
we weren't at. You and I weren't in any of these places at the same time. So
No, you probably predated me by what, 20 years?
yeah, probably. That's sad, but yes.
That's not sad, my dear friend.
Uh-huh. So says you.
I'm 80 on the inside. We know this.
That's true. Mary is a
So now
a wise woman.
I don't know if I'm wise, but
I'm going to expose a secret, possibly.
How's that, Katie? Is that better?
Say, Dave, you've definitely dipped your. I remember you've dipped your.
Oh,
back in
yeah.
our mini Peyton days.
Yeah,
Dave does that all the time, in fact.
Yeah.
What I do? I'm gonna start mixing. So I got new paints, and I did the thing, Dave, that you've recommended.
Yeah.
Because my ex got the paints.
Yes.
What did we split?
It happens.
And I got primary colors, and then I got silver.
Yep.
A nice brown.
Mm-hmm.
Brain matter beige, which is fun, and then I got 2 washes, which I think these operate essentially as inks anyways, but I got I got flesh, and then I got strong.
I think that sounds like a good combo, Mary.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was like, strong is not a color.
It can be if you want it to be hard enough, Scott.
That's right.
Well, I'm glad that I'm not doing the punctuation on that statement. It just sounded weird. I won't even talk about it. Let's move on.
Hey, I'm painting. I just out of curiosity, I'm wondering if Scott, if you know where I might have gotten this. Here's a miniature of a rather ghoulish character carrying a
coffin. It looks like no. I have no idea.
I would have bought it at the Source Comics and Games, or at John's old store.
I have no idea where that came from.
I wish the camera would show him. This has a fixed focus, and I can't get very close. But it's kind of a funky little miniature. I like him. He's got some great modeling.
That's cool.
And I've had him for years.
Dave, I was at the Source yesterday, and they had. I almost bought some and resisted, and I'm probably gonna go back and buy them again. To be honest, a ton of tiny little headstones. They had tons of them. And I really want them. So I want to make a tiny little cemetery in a jar.
Of course you do. In a jar. Of course you do. Everybody does.
Katie says, "Have they ever made any Hellboy minis?" Funny you should mention.
Yeah. Didn't this company? That's Hellraiser.
That's Hellraiser.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Hellraiser. I was like, I got one. I wonder.
But
I wonder if there are.
I bet there are. I'd be willing to bet there are.
Well, there may be, but it's one of those licensed products. So who knows?
Well, I wonder how they got the licenses for these ones too, because this is not like when we looked online. This is not listed as Pinhead.
Exactly.
They didn't say anything. They just did it and kept their fingers crossed.
Like this really awesome figure I've got right here that is impossible to see is obviously Peter Cushing. In fact, I'm going to pull up an image of it and do a screen share because I am looking forward. Oh, let's see. Mantic Games just did a big old Hellboy game with lots of minis. Okay. Mantic is great really stuff. Fun. Thanks, James. Yeah, well, that's good to know.
This is fleshy toned, right?
So I'm going to
I'm sorry. Robert was just asking a question. Miniature models question: are the artists all unsung heroes, or are there names in the miniature carving business? There are a handful of names, and at one point I could have maybe remembered 3 of them. Not right now. But there have been a few, particularly in the up until recently, because they so many miniatures had to be hand created using little wire armatures and then layers of putty and whatnot. So they're literally little handmade sculptures, an inch tall. And so there have always been a few that are outstanding, but a lot of them are being designed now on computers using computer sculpting software, and I've got no problem with it. They look great, you know.
Yeah. So our friend Bill, who very graciously helped me with my plumbing the other day. Bill's my neighbor, and along.
Sorry, Mary, but that sounds like a euphemism. I just had to say it.
Yeah. In this very rare instance, it wasn't. I called Bill crying, being like, "The plumber won't help me. I don't know what to do." And he lives like a few blocks away from my house, and so Bill's like, "I'm coming over. I'll help it out."
Yeah.
So Bill saved the day.
Yay, Bill!
Yay, Bill! But Bill is buying a very nice 3D printer to print minis. Bill, Dave, and Scott, I think, are some of the most talented miniature artists in the Twin Cities. If I do say so myself, I really think so.
No, we just kept you sheltered, so this is the illusion we've created.
That's really kind. That's very kind. And by the way, yes, Daniel asked about Spawn minis. Yes, there are Spawn minis, but I can't tell you anything beyond that.
Sure.
But I've seen them before. I bet if you Google them, you can find them.
I'll bet you can too. Hey, I'm going to share my screen just long enough here. I want to show folks the page for the company in England that these miniatures came from. Boop. Anybody can see that or not?
Here, I gotta.
Maybe you have to allow it. There we go. So let's see. It's Studio Miniatures, and the figure I'm about to paint is on the right-hand side, second from the top. That's the Peter Cushing inspired figure, which I absolutely adore.
If you click on it, I think you can show it sort of in
a little bit closer.
He looks just like him.
Especially when you consider that this miniature is literally, I mean, I'm holding it in my hand. It's slightly over an inch in height, you know? So it's got that right degree of sort of caricature, if you will, to bring out the cheekbones and the overall shape of the face. Well, real simple mini to paint. There's not a lot of color there or anything, but love that guy.
Dan's buying a Wolfman as we speak. Nice. That was another one that we really liked. And then, Dave, can you show Elvira? So I'm painting Elvira right now.
Oh yeah, let me find her.
And that's I kind of hope they do a Darcy. Like, wouldn't that be so cool? Because I feel like Elvira and Darcy and Vampira and is it Vampira or Vampira?
I think it's Vampira. Hey,
is it really?
I think so. Is this is this Igor from Young Frankenstein?
It might be, because I think the doctor figure below might be Gene Wilder.
Dr. Frankenstein. Oh, yes. I rewatched Young Frankenstein after what's her name passed away? Frau Blucher.
Yeah. Here. There you go, Mary.
Yeah.
Here's your Elvira.
So good.
Yep. And Mary's got a really awesome figure of MacReady from
I think that's going to be the one I do next.
Yeah, and that's actually in the what's it called here? Survivors.
Yeah, the Survivors one. I think that might be my next tattoo. Is a thing tattoo.
Yep. Hey, is this Snake Plissken right here?
Yeah,
Isn't that cool? Wearing those pants. Yep.
Yep. These will go great with my zombie town. I've got this whole setup with a ton of zombie miniatures and some buildings and whatnot. And I didn't get MacReady. That's Mary's baby. There you go.
Yeah. That's Kurt Russell at his finest, I think.
Hey, check this out. Is this actually I may be wrong. Is this also, who's this?
Well, it says.
Oh, that's shoot.
I don't know. If any of you folks know,
is it because that's it's another John Carpenter one, I thought. What? Escape from LA, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I tried.
A lot of good stuff. That's so once again, that's Studio Miniatures.
It's so good.
Yeah, Tim says, can somebody please do a Beetlejuice mini?
Yeah. Katie
Ooh.
says, I want to know about the tattoos people have. I think I'm the only one here with any tattoos.
I hate to admit it, but it's true.
Yes.
Um,
Cool. Mary has cool tattoos.
Snake Plissken, yep.
Yep, Snake Plissken. So I have 3. I have this one right here. So this is a. Oh, here I'll stop sharing the screen.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Let me.
No, you're fine.
There you
I've
go.
got this one, which is a Lily of the Valley. So what I want to do is have like favorite flowers of friends and family growing up this arm, sort of the back of this arm. This is on the very back. Wolfsbane. Yeah, that'll be yours, Scott. Yeah. And then on this arm, I want to do all the state flowers from the states that I've lived in since I've lived in 7 different states. I can't really. Well, I don't know if I could show. I have just because it's hard to see. I have a stick and poke right here that a friend did of the constellation Orion, and then my first tattoo, which I got 4 years ago. 5 years ago. I got it 5 years ago this week. I got it in February. Is this one.
Can she do it? Don't give up the ship.
Don't give up the ship.
Mary got that specifically for all the War of 1812 naval enthusiasts out there.
That's from the time she was serving in the Great Lakes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
She and Admiral Perry.
Yeah. My dear friend Admiral Perry.
Yes.
Hand poked me with that tattoo.
Yeah.
So to speak.
But yeah, so that was the first one. That one really hurt. But I think the next one that I want to do is on this side of my rib cage. The rib cage is like all of my power tattoos, like the motivational tattoos. But I want to get the last line from The Thing, which was like a repeated mantra through the hellscape of 2020.
Yeah.
Which was why don't we just wait here for a while? Or let's just wait here for a little while and see what happens.
You got that right. Hey, Robert wants to know how it was. I went through 4 years in the Marines and never got a tattoo. That's actually a good question. And I probably should have, because now I'm less inclined to do it. Largely because I give blood all the time. In fact, I have to get up early and give blood tomorrow morning. And it's
really?
an issue. Yeah, and it's an issue when you give blood. You have to wait a while. So, but Scott and I have a secret pact with an individual where we're supposed to get tattoos somewhere on our bodies, and that may actually transpire. And I have a pair of nieces in their late 20s, early 30s in Prescott, Wisconsin, who have a tattoo parlor called Geister Inc., and they do some pretty amazing work. So they've been threatening to hold me down and tattoo me for years. And they could do it. They're big girls.
Like a Maori style tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've often thought I should get like a little pony, my pony with
No, please don't.
No. Hear me out.
No.
With a dagger in its mouth that says "Death before dishonor" or something that.
Stop.
I like the idea of confusing people.
No,
I have a friend who has a narwhal coming out of a banana peel.
That's disturbing. Actually,
it's a happy little narwhal.
That sounds like another euphemism, Mary. I'm sorry.
Does. Yes, it does.
My whole life is a euphemism, as it seems these days.
My whole life is a euphemism. See the can of worms you opened. Now Katie asks.
Katie, I honestly don't know. I would let my granddaughters pick that out.
Yeah, and that would be trouble right there.
Yeah. Hey, Tim says Mary's a ghost who went down with the Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah, it's possible. She can be creepy, so you never know.
That's her middle name.
And I mean that in the kindest possible way.
Mary's middle name is creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, creepy Chowman.
Creepy Chowman. That's what they call me. That's what these two call me.
That's what we've always, when we first met her, that's what we called her.
Oh, Jesus, she's creepy.
Yeah.
And look where we are today.
Yeah, and then she moved here, and then we had no choice.
That's right. We won't say what adjectives people apply to us.
No, actually, we don't want to think about that.
Very kind and dashing, I think, is what people would say.
No one in their right mind at my current age and build would look at me and say, dashing.
Oh,
Nobody.
please.
Oh, Scott, come on.
Nobody.
You are
No.
Everyone boost up Scott
Maybe
now, all at once.
Shush.
Call in the crew.
Maybe at some point in my life, but not now.
Hey, Katie just said I'm very wise, so I'm gonna go with
See,
that.
there you go. Yes.
Thanks, Katie.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask again. Does anybody out there have any kind of project they're actually working on tonight while they're subjecting themselves to our inane ramblings?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Because this is the kind of thing that I think we'll try to do maybe once a month or something for ourselves. Alex, Scott is my defeatist spirit animal.
Oh, well, yes. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate
Katie says you are a dashing squire, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Katie.
He needed to hear that, Katie. Thank you.
Yes.
Sort of. Robert
I
says
appreciate it.
Robert says he's working on something.
I like being a defeatist spirit animal as well. Yeah.
Squire Scott, you are a hero of the
Never thought
utmost
myself as a
sport.
defeatist, but hey, I'll take it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dr. West is basically relaxing after a long, no doubt bloody day of work here. He says.
Well, that comes with the territory.
There, see, Scott. Robert said he'd date you if that was his thing.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
I practically do, you know.
True.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I love that people have thought that you are a couple. I think it's I think it's
I
really
I don't at all. No.
I think it's so sweet.
No.
I think it's hilarious. I love it.
Maybe I'm insecure in my masculinity, but no, I don't like it at all. Frankly, I hate it. So,
it's too late, Scott. It's out there now.
Well, I don't think it's funny. So I'll fight you. So, it's not funny at all. I don't think it's funny at all. So maybe I'm getting stupid in my old age, but it's not amusing to me. So,
as long as it's amusing to me, that's all that really
So
matters.
shut up.
We do make a pretty good couple, Scott, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. You know what? Don't maybe you start to use obscenities.
Oh, dear.
Good grief. Katie says she's working on a drawing that's due tomorrow morning.
Oh, really? What do you have,
now?
Katie? Yeah, is there any way you can share it?
Or just tell us what it is?
Yeah.
And then James says, not working on anything tonight, but if you do this again, I'll plan accordingly.
Oh,
yeah. I thought you will. Damn, I thought
we should do this again. We should do Monster Mini Happy Hour. This is a great idea.
I thought you were going to say she was playing the accordion.
So was I, actually, for a moment.
Yeah, if you're playing the accordion, that would be great.
Yeah, Katie's doing the accordion. Or no, it was James who said he's planning accordingly. I'll play the theremin, and it'll be great.
Oh, I love a good theremin.
I have a theremin somewhere.
Do you really?
Do you really? Of course you do. Scott has all the cool stuff.
No, I got that in the 1980s. So that's like
before
ancient
my
history.
parents were married.
Yeah, exactly.
J. Robert Clark, I made a tauntaun bust, 3 3/4 scale. That's so cool. That had busted an ear, so I'm repairing it. That's really cool.
Hey, that's very cool. Dan graded some papers. Oh boy.
Yay, Dan.
Yeah.
That's okay. As far as teachers go, whatever you did, cool.
First of all, I want to know what that tauntaun is made out of. Katie's describing, let's see, it's a skeleton who's summoning moral mushrooms from the earth.
Sounds
the root
absolutely
of his
awesome.
haunted trumpet like the
That's really cool.
That's
culinary mushrooms. I love it.
Can we buy this, Katie?
Awesome.
Seriously.
Because Dave, I have a sticker for you that's from Katie. I got some stickers from Katie, and then Scott has one. I need to give you one.
I love it.
I have one of Katie's Satan self-care magnets on my fridge, and it's one of my favorites now.
There you go. Let's see.
It's working on some artwork or story stuff here later. Yay!
Outstanding.
And Robert says it's made out of polymer clay.
Oh, okay, sure. Yep.
And
Is it Sculpey, Super Sculpey, or something else?
Dan asks, what brigade is in the painting, Dave? Which is a great question.
Oh, in that's a scene. Excuse me. That's the First Minnesota Regiment at the Battle of Gettysburg. If you go to my website, you can see a painting I did. That's a big overhead bird's eye view where you see the entire regiment and about 1,000 Confederates at the Battle of Gettysburg. And this is the close-up view moments after that scene. So I'm gradually telescoping and getting in closer and closer. So the third painting of this will actually be one of the men burying his brother the following morning. So I, sort of chart the course of their charge in a way. I actually started this painting while my wife and I did an artist in residence program at Gettysburg a year and a half ago. We got to live on the battlefield in the oh my God, we lived there for a year on the Emmitsburg Road, the Klingel House. And so I started this painting and I could literally look out the window into our quote unquote backyard and about half a mile away or a quarter mile away and see where it actually happened. Let's see.
There's the Michigan Black Hats. Yeah, the Iron Brigade.
God, the 24th Michigan was awesome. They paid quite a price on the first
day. Iron Brigade and there's a lot of people who are very, like in the historical community, who are very into the Iron Brigade.
Oh, and they should be, yeah. And the 24th Michigan was awesome.
And we posted pictures. Mary and I flew out there to visit Dave, and we went to a horror convention, and we met Darcy and Joe Bob. And if we weren't at the convention that weekend, we were typically out on the battlefield being history nerds, as we've often referred to, and going to various sites on the battlefield.
Yeah. Because the entire battlefield.
That's the kind of nerds we are. So
it was so fun too, because I grew up in about 90 minutes from Gettysburg, and so a lot of my early memories after I was able to drive, I would drive down to Gettysburg. And Robert says that we can see the Tauntaun on his website, which would be awesome because I want to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm sorry, a Pants Ninja. Yeah, I'm sure you can. That whole that spot right there on the Emmitsburg Road. It was really cool living at that spot and being in a house where we knew the fighting had literally taken place on the second day's part of the battle. And my wife wrote several poems as part of the Artist in Residence program. And one of her poems, written just as we were leaving the house after being there for a month, was from the perspective of Mrs. Klingel having to scrub the blood off the floor of her house because it had been used essentially as a hospital during the fighting. So yeah, I look forward to getting back there again. It's a fascinating place to me because I've always been attracted to the story of not only the 1st Minnesota, but also the men from my hometown of Prescott, 30 miles from here, who were also part of the Black Hat, the Iron Brigade, and they paid a dear price on the first day of the fight. So, and I'm afraid we headed into history, into a direction here. I'm sorry. Let's get back to monsters.
We could though.
Monsters.
Another thing that I don't think that people know necessarily is that Dave and Scott and I all met essentially through the history community, not the horror community. Right. We all were part of a group of people who sort of all knew each other, who were very shared the same sort of ethical and moral and political leanings. Correct. And which I'm sure everyone can.
Yes.
You know enough about us to sort of know where we are.
You can probably glean that from a listener too.
Right. Listens to 2 minutes. Yeah. And we all worked at a place called Fort Snelling, which is in St. Paul, Minnesota. And Dave and Scott worked there long before I did. When did you guys both start there? When did you meet? I don't know.
Dave started before I did.
Well, I started there in 97. My dear wife had been volunteering there with her little ones, who are now my grown-up stepdaughters with children of their own. But They were there even earlier, like 94, 95. So it goes back a time. And then Scott, when did you start? About 99?
Yep, 99. And then I was working there up until this year or last year.
2020.
Yep.
Scott, Robert asked, what are you painting?
Oh, I'm just painting as I mentioned earlier, and I'm sorry. I'll post a picture of it, or it just looks like a glowing white glob. I'm painting a Nazi zombie.
The best kind of zombies.
Yay!
Yes.
As Katie said, we hate fascists whether or not they shamble or they run.
Yes.
It's great. Oh.
I love it. Let's see. Dr. West, Pants Ninja says, yeah, you work for the college down there. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
That's awesome. I almost went to school there.
Yeah.
It's a great school.
Yeah, no, I find it. I find it a fascinating place. I really do. And I'm one of these people who actually does not mind. I know this is sacrilegious. I do not mind the profusion of.
Ghost tours.
Well, okay, maybe not that, but some of the tacky gift shops and things like that, because there will always be a part of me who's a 12-year-old kid who never got to go there. I didn't get there till I was in my 30s. So there's always a part of me that will be that little kid. And I like going there and seeing stuff that I would have loved as a kid. You know, bags of toy soldiers, cheap forage caps, toy guns.
The little fake Minier balls.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. And in fact, our grandkids came out and visited with us when we were there for that month. And they love the place. They, as young as they are, they have an appreciation for some of the history right now, which is pretty cool. But they also just found it fascinating. So
Because
I think we got our hooks in very young.
Yes.
Yep. Let's
Absolutely.
okay.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Yeah. If we ever need anything, hell yeah.
So next time, Dr. West, were you perchance at the? So what was the convention called?
Creature Feature Weekend or something like
Yep.
that.
That's
Yep.
what it was.
Robert, you are correct. It's pretty damn close in color. It's almost, in fact, this may have to be my signature drink now when I wear the shirt. Which means Scott's you got to get Will Holmes to somehow come up with another case of Ecto Cooler for you.
Yeah. I've got, I think, 4 more boxes like this.
Well,
So.
no, you guys are great for sticking with us this long. This is very kind of you.
At least we said we were going till 10. So
trust me, if anybody leaves right now, you will be. We may actually think more of you if you leave now than if you stick it out to the end. Let's put it that way. Let's see, what's Scott doing?
Oh, I was just, something fell over on the shelf behind my laptop, so I was seeing what it was. So administrative stuff.
Scott, you're an Ecto Cooler bootlegger.
That's right.
Yeah. Who knows if the Ecto Cooler had maybe fermented? It's possible.
Maybe we'll all just get really blitzed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to.
Time.
Nothing quite like getting drunk and trying to paint a miniature the size of your thumb.
Yes.
Well, you have one of those magnifying glasses, right?
I know, and I'd be wearing them right now, but I can't find the. In fact, you know what? No, I'm not going to worry about it. If we do this again, I'll find them.
I'm glad. I'm going to mangle your handle, Fadigarcator.
That's Fading Arcader.
Oh, see? Okay, great. Well, there, I just proved I'm a doddering old man. Anyway, I'm glad you
You're so mean to yourself.
Yeah. Well, I just proved it though.
At least we don't have to do it then, I guess. But...
Yeah. There you go. I'm preempting somebody saying, "Man, you are old."
Wow.
Okay, we'll have to next time we do this. We'll have to do like a big Zoom call or something so everyone can call in with their projects.
Hey, actually, that would be pretty cool.
I got a Zoom account.
Yeah.
You have a Zoom account.
I have a Zoom account. Everyone has a Zoom account these days.
They do. Oh, let's see. Tim's got some important information to pass on. Your Critical Role starts at 10 Eastern time. Oh, I love me Critical Role. That's true.
Matt Mercer's great.
Yeah,
Wait, what characters does everyone play as? Tim, what do you play as? Robert
Robert.
says
EBM.
a big zoom in.
The zoom in. Critical Role is it's an ongoing Dungeons and Dragons campaign that's been created by a handful of
Pathetic individuals.
no, they're basically celebrities now. They are voice actors. You
Yeah.
would recognize a number of their games.
That's how they legitimize it.
You'd recognize some of the voices from things. Yep. But anyhow, they have this really awesome YouTube channel where they stream a live game. I don't know, is it once a week? And I go through stretches where I'll listen for hours and hours at a time, several nights in a row, depending on the project I'm working on. I find it kind of relaxing, and it's a stand-in for being able to sit down at a table and game with friends right now. So, it fulfills a need.
Yeah, I've been thinking about trying to do because we've done a couple of different campaigns together, Dave.
Right.
I've
Right.
DM'd, you've DM'd.
Yep.
I don't think Scott and you and I have all done one together.
I don't believe so. Trying to purge that death in my character.
You're trying to purge the D&D urge.
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. I know it rarely happens, but that's what I'm doing.
Over the odds.
Sarcasm happens so rarely it escapes from my lips.
Yes, they do.
How can I get this darker?
What do you got going there, Mary?
Well, I have a really good.
Like your heart.
It's true. My heart is black.
Well, maybe not purely black, but yeah. So what are you trying to do?
I got Necromancer's Cloak, which is great, but it's very much a gray.
Yeah, and so you need a little bit of dark in the shadows, or what?
Yeah, because I think I've got a strong tone, but I think for like Elvira's hair, I should get black. Maybe I'll just wait and buy black.
You know what? You will need it at some point anyhow. So I would maybe just.
And I'm gonna go. I gotta go back to the source and buy those. I gotta buy that tiny little headstones that were so cute.
You know what,
Right.
Eric? Black is one of those colors that I've got like 4 bottles of because
Or different types of black.
Well, I'll just give you one of them next time.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'll give you something in exchange.
Yeah, all right. Whatever.
Whatever he says.
It's not,
Well,
it-
I've got
It's
the base
not
coat on my Christopher Lee doctor here, but without my magnifying glasses, there's not much more I can do.
Christopher Lee.
Peter Cushing.
What did I say? Christopher Lee?
Yes, you
Oh,
did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, it's definitely Peter Cushing.
Mary would object.
I have to say once again, it's so much fun to hold this figure and just see him with a basic flesh coat on his face, because with the shadows from my light hitting him just so, it looks like Peter Cushing. It's really amazing. They
cool.
managed to capture those cheekbones and that brow, so well. It's really nice.
Here's something that I think I said to you, Scott, the other day on Twitter. I feel like if all of us, there's like the grand trifecta, right, of Cushing, Lee, and Price.
Sure.
I feel like if out of all those 3, I feel like Scott is our Christopher Lee because you have the most sonorous voice. You are. You have lived an interesting life and you have a very sonorous voice. And I feel like Dave is Peter Cushing.
Oh,
That's very.
I like that. Wait, Mary, that makes you Vincent Price?
I feel like I'm absolutely a Vincent Price.
That's pretty cool.
He was a strange man, and I'm a strange woman. So there we go.
I just think about parallels between Christopher Lee and Scott. And Christopher Lee killed Nazis with his hands, and Scott has killed several Nazis with his hands. So
Well, at least on a tabletop.
Katie asks, did they capture Peter Cushing's darling personality?
Well, he is in his role as a doctor here, so I mean, I can see through the character to his true personality.
You know, the quote about Mr. Price being able to commit necrophilia was somebody talking about the film that we just reviewed.
Right.
It wasn't us. I would never say that about Mr. Price.
And I can assure you that I am not a necrophiliac.
No, that's right. As far
I
as
might
we
be
know,
strange, but I'm not a necrophiliac. As far as I know, I'm not a necrophiliac.
and that was the
Thanks for
writer.
bringing it up, Dan.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. That was the screenwriter. Oh my.
Oh yeah,
Robert Town, who went on to write a lot of great screenplays, including
Chinatown.
Yeah. But yeah, he literally is quoted as saying those things about Price's character, and he said he loved Vincent Price, but there were people, and I can understand this, who felt that for that particular movie, they felt like the character should have been played by a much younger man in his early 20s, who was absolutely adorable, so that the woman would have no choice. You hear this, Mary? No choice. No control. She'd have a reason to fall in love with him and be lustful for him.
Lose all self-control. Yeah. I saw those arched eyebrows, Mary.
All right, who just wrote "If Romance is Dead, then I guess I'm a necrophiliac"?
That's a line from a song.
Okay, all right.
Whoa!
No.
That's a good line, though. Romance is dead.
James says putting the romance back in necromancy.
Oh,
God.
So recently I went back. I was feeling blue, and I went back and re-listened to Crimson Peak, which I think is where Scott and I were doing.
Wait, is that?
What was the episode?
Is that where the 2:30 joke came from?
Yeah, and the Colonel.
Yes.
What did we say again? It was so funny.
I know. The whole thing is funny to only us, I suspect.
Exactly.
I don't know why we thought it was so funny at the time. We couldn't stop laughing.
And these poor folks are listening to us laugh at our own
That's right.
jokes.
They're listening to us crack up about stuff we said to each other.
I don't know whether to thank you or pity you. But we appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Well, for better or worse, this is kind of what it's like hanging out with us. The only thing missing
so
is,
now if when conventions happen again, or there's possible public venues,
yes,
now based on
to stay the hell away from
our
us.
Podcast and this exactly.
Yeah, avoid us.
I know. I see them. I'm going to turn the other way.
If Cheesebro tells that 2:30 joke one more time, I'm going to kill him.
The thing is, I probably would only tell that to Dave and Mary, and eventually it'll get to the point where they'll say, "Shut up."
I don't know.
We would never say that.
Just shut up. I've had enough.
Dan says he wants to go to a brewery and buy us pictures for hours.
We want you to. We really want you to.
Believe you. My fondest dream is going to a convention or some sort of public setting, meeting a bunch of people who we know here.
Exactly.
And sharing drinks until we all have to be put in the drunk tank or something like that.
That's the goal.
Pat who has been our DD before, will be our DD again.
That's
all right. Okay.
Well,
he never will.
If this damned pandemic hadn't played out the way it was, Scott and I were bound for Monsterpalooza last spring.
Yeah,
and,
May.
Last May. And who knows, maybe we'll try to latch onto one this autumn. I might be feeling a little better by then about this whole situation. But we've also talked, the three of us, and maybe with some of you, but even chatting via Twitter with Darcy the Mill Girl about the idea of a mutant meetup in New Orleans or someplace like that, or Texas. But the idea of meeting in New Orleans, is rather intriguing, because Mary, we could go to
a secret vampire speakeasy, and I won't tell you where it is, but there's a bar.
It is a secret. So.
It's a secret. So, also, I want to say before I tell the vampire story, Robert says, before this concludes, thank you. This is my kind of nerdiness, and all who are signed in and messaging along, thank you too. Thank you, Robert. All of Robert's YouTube channel is so cool. And I think that the next time we do this, we'll have to do a Zoom call so we can talk in person and have our videos and all paint. Really
I agree. Yep. Yeah. You can all be working on yourself, or you can be relaxing. You don't even have to wear pants. We don't really care.
True. I almost didn't wear pants tonight.
I'm not wearing them.
I am wearing pants, but I almost didn't.
She could have been wearing a skirt.
Yeah, right.
Dad.
We're cold for that. Yes, secret vampire speakeasy. Okay, so the one time I was in New Orleans a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you need a cloak. Yep.
Yes, a cloak is necessary.
We're once we've got the AOK, everybody here has to prepare their wardrobe.
Yes, exactly.
We've already discussed that.
I did make a dress for this. Like, I made an actual dress that's like the New Orleans meetup dress. And Robert says you can wear a skirt too, Scott.
No, I think I posted something about it today. Thanks for the helpful suggestion, though, Robert. No,
Robert's nothing if not helpful.
I've already decided that I'm going to model myself after two characters in movies we both reviewed, and both Vincent Price ones. It would either be Roderick Usher,
yes,
or our most current film, Tomb of Ligeia, Verdant Fell. I like the whole sunglasses, tall hat.
He was also quite dashing. Like when Vincent Price says, like, I forget what he says, but it's like, no, allow me, and then like scoops the lady up and carries her off. And it's like, oh, Vincent, my goodness.
I know. No kidding. Oh, look at Katie. Katie, you can't do this to us. She says, if we do a Zoom call sometime, remind me to tell you the story of the time I worked on a historic farm and they bought a cursed vampire. Ooh.
Katie, I work on a historic farm now, and I need a cursed vampire scapegoat.
We can't wait to hear that story, Katie.
Yeah, seriously.
That's fabulous. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's awesome.
But we shouldn't have her tell it now, because I want to hear her personally telling the story.
Yes, absolutely.
That sounds amazing.
So if you don't mind.
And if it's in person, Katie, if it's ever in person, I'll pay for all of your drinks.
Yes, Scott. Yay.
There we go.
Pay for all your drinks. So
if I knew that's all it took, Scott, I would have come up with a first stage story a long time ago.
You can pay for all of Katie's drinks at this vampire bar in New Orleans, so it's a speakeasy that you go to the back of a jazz club and you tell the bartender that the
Mary's giving it away. Be careful.
Well,
Mary.
I'm not saying where it is.
Okay.
But you go to the back, say the vampire sent you. They send you upstairs, and and there is a vampire bar that looks like it's from Interview with the Vampire. It's like this very lush, like velvet curtains and sofas and all these sorts of things. And there's like 3 people up there, maybe. No one knows it's there. And there's one bartender, and they do all absinthe-based cocktails. And you can go onto a balcony, and it looks onto Bourbon Street. And it is extremely freaking cool. It was so much fun.
It's very illustrative of how uncool I am, in that I've been to New Orleans 6 times, and in none of those 6 visits did I go to or even know about the vampire bar.
I don't think many people know about it, because I was there accidentally during Mardi Gras. It was like the week before Mardi Gras. I didn't realize that Mardi Gras was from January until March. March. And so surprise, surprise, I ended up there during Mardi Gras. Which was very fun. I would live down there potentially someday. I really liked it. There's also another bar that we should all go to. That's very near the river, the Mississippi River, sort of near Jackson Square. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Where the cathedral is, and it's right. Yep. And there's a guy who plays every night at sunset. He plays the bagpipes. It's really cool. But there's a bar there that is it has to be one of the best tiki bars in the country. And I think it's called Latitude 39 or something like a Latitude something. But it has the best tiki drinks I've ever had. Incredible, and they have all of this tiki memorabilia that's just in cases and everywhere. It was so cool. So we should go there too, because that was very, very fun, and the drinks were amazing.
Exactly, Katie. That's what I would go there and do, is spend 90% of the time eating and drinking.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Yep. So it's a great place to eat, as long as you aren't a picky eater. If you're a picky eater, then I have some choice words for you, which I won't say here.
Well, and the other thing we could do too is that we can go visit, as I did, and persuaded my partner at the time to go with me and see Nicolas Cage's final resting place. And I have a picture. Oh, I should have him send that to me, actually. I have a picture of me by Nicolas Cage's future final resting place in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1.
Hooray!
And it's a little white pyramid. And actually, it was very controversial when they built it, because that cemetery houses way more people than you would think, because everyone's sort of stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Well, because they're called it's like oven crypts or something like that. But they are
where you cook the dead.
Literally, though, they put the bodies they're in the walls of this walled cemetery, and for the first, it's a year and a day where your remains stay in there. They put your body in there, with a bag and stuff like that now, but back then they didn't, because the old timey times, they didn't have plastic.
Right.
And they would let you. It gets so hot in New Orleans that the internal temperature of these walls reach an oven temperature reaches over 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and it cooks your body down.
Boy,
it's wild. That's so interesting.
Imagine how great that smelled.
It probably, yeah, I don't think New Orleans back in the day smelled particularly good.
Well, at least not near the cemetery.
No.
Right? Well, and I wonder because there was a lot of cemeteries in sort of one place. But it's fascinating. That whole thing was the way that people buried their dead in New Orleans is very interesting to me. Because it's a very cultural thing.
Does Trent Reznor live in New Orleans?
I don't. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just going to say, Easy Bake Crips.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
you got that right.
Daniel says that Trent visited Trent Reznor's home. I didn't know he lived down in New Orleans.
I didn't know either. I like Trent Reznor. He seems like a sweetie pie.
I'm not sure about that, but whatever.
Just because he wants to fuck you like an animal doesn't mean he's not sweet.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, Barry.
It's the line from the thing.
I know. We know you're hip and cool, and or at least I'm, a darling
that
old
song
dinosaur.
came out in the 90s. I wasn't even
Actually, I know the song. Actually, in this case, I know the song, but all right, whatever. I'm just going to shut up.
Oh, thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Katie thought it was funny.
Yeah, well, Katie's sweet. What can you say?
Yes, it's true. And the pants knitter says he'll do it sweetly. What was I going to do? I'm going to go get another ecto cooler, and I'll be right back.
He used to have the door from Sharon Tate's house.
I don't know if I think that's cool.
Oh, that's a little icky. That's like Marilyn Manson icky.
I don't know if I like
it. Oh, as the door to a studio, that's different.
I don't know if I like it anyway.
I'm not going to pass judgment on him.
It's like having a souvenir from Ed Gein's house. I don't know.
Okay.
On the one hand, it's cool, and on the other hand, it's just disturbing and creepy. I don't know. This is coming from a guy who traveled to Plainfield, Wisconsin to try and find the foundation of Ed Gein's home.
You did.
I did, and
did you find it?
I did.
Really?
Yeah. Although it's now what they call a pine orchard. There's all kinds of pine trees growing up around it.
Huh.
And I don't know who. I mean, I didn't go that far, but I don't know who owns the land now. If it's the state or the city or an individual, but
sure.
But hey, look, this guy did all this horrible stuff in Plainfield, Wisconsin. Let's go visit. All right.
Yeah. It's the Wisconsin curse. Yeah, Katie, he found it crazy, huh? Hey, Scott, you know what?
I did find it, Katie.
You did?
I did. And somewhere, I'll have to dig around and see if I can find it. I have pictures. At that time, his mother, and he was still alive at the time I went there. He was, he was in the local crazy house.
for a lack of a better word.
Yeah. But
talk about Ed Gein.
But I found his mother's grave, and I still have pictures of the foundation and the cemetery, which is where he committed some of his crimes. So that's the
I'm sorry. Who's this? Who are we talking about?
This is
Trent Reznor.
Oh, okay.
No, Trent Reznor. No, it's
Ed
not.
Gein.
Yeah, Ed Gein.
I don't know who that is actually.
Oh well.
Oh, Mary.
Clearly, you need to educate yourself.
Well, so one thing that's been very interesting in this past year, and we don't need to get into it super much, but I think most people know. Last May I witnessed a homicide that was exceptionally violent, and I was the first one on the scene, the whole thing, and has complicated the past year in a lot of ways. With PTSD, and 2 weeks later I was almost shot again. A white supremacist shot into a crowd at a protest that I was at after George Floyd was murdered. So there was a lot that was going on, and true crime, which had been sort of a thing that I enjoyed before, I can't stomach it anymore. I just not to knock on people who enjoy it, but it's so weird that I just can't do it.
Well, it makes perfect sense.
I suppose, but I still want to know who that is.
Yeah.
Ed Gein is a guy who, what they, in a broad sense, they based the Texas Chainsaw Massacre off of.
Oh.
He's a guy who lived in a small town in Wisconsin and killed one woman and then hung her up in his barn, and also pilfered the local cemetery for freshly interred females, and then made vests out of them and clothing out of them, and he also made things like soup bowls with skulls and made lampshades and all kinds of stuff out of human skin.
Oh, okay. So this is very okay. Well, one, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Two, it's like the second season of American Horror Story that takes place in the American Horror Story Asylum, which, interestingly enough, a lot of the footage from that, I think they replicated footage, took place in the same asylum that there was a big expose done in the 70s that resulted in the Cropsey case.
Yep.
If you've seen Cropsey, the documentary.
Yeah, all right. That's correct. That's a great book. There's a great book about the Ed Gein case by Schechter. He's a great author. And yes, Katie, the nipple belt, amongst other things that were found. Yeah. Although,
thanks for the nightmares, Katie. Thank you.
I can't imagine that nipple belt was very practical. I don't think it worked.
Wait.
I don't have much of a basis of comparison.
I assume I assume I know. I mean, it's obviously made out of nipples, but was it meant to be a purpose? Were the nipples more than decorative?
I guess I don't know. I don't know if the nipples had a function within the
in
belt.
real life, they have a function, but
Yes, in
What?
real life, when they're
What?
attached to a living human being, yes. Yes, they have a function.
I realize this conversation has gone down the same disgusting rabbit hole that almost every podcast episode does.
That's true.
it always takes a turn.
As we always say, okay, here's another rabbit hole.
The only thing that makes me feel better is all of our friends with us tonight are just as responsible as we are.
It's not just us.
Katie says they were just for texture.
Well, they do have an interesting texture, but I can't imagine they were.
Dan said it's not my fault this time.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
When they're attached to a belt as opposed to where they originally were,
Yes.
it's probably not as nice.
No, that's probably a safe bet.
Yeah.
I like my nipples firmly attached.
There we go.
Yeah.
We have an official
Firmly
statement.
attached.
We have an official statement from Mary Chalman regarding that.
And
Good to
I'm
know where you stand on
I'm
that
gonna
issue.
say something very imprudent, but not
Imprudent.
not too imprudent. I prefer that your nipples stay attached to you as well. So.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He means that in the kindest possible way.
I do.
Also, so Scott, in this Ecto Cooler cocktail, I'm putting in. I went to the co-op before this, and they had Meyer lemon, and Meyer lemon is funky.
It's
In what respect?
Well, it's very like floral. It almost smells astringent in a way. I don't know. It's a cool flavor. Well,
Has it gone off?
Yeah.
Well,
it does happen.
I could take us down the again the strange and boring history route
Oh, please.
and say that I don't often like to draw attention to this sort of thing, and it's a minor aspect, but there is a famous or infamous Confederate personage who had an affinity for lemons.
Oh my God.
Yes. Well,
I know, we all know who we're talking about.
yes. Well, not unlike that person, I have an affinity for lemons. But I don't hold my arm in the air for no particular reason.
It's for health, Scott.
Yes.
That's right, to keep your balance. Keep the humors balanced correctly in your body.
Well, in any case, and I think I mentioned this actually in one of our episodes, but I used to back in my youth, millions of years ago,
when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Exactly. I used to win many a bar bet involving holding a lemon wedge in my mouth. Actually, the big one was always eating an entire lemon. So that was always good.
Wow. Dan asked what to do with lemons, or at least the extra lemon bits. So what I do is make preserved lemons, and it's salt and lemons. And what you do is it's called preserved lemons. And what it'll do is it will make the lemons last for a long time. But you take the rinds of a few lemons, you cut the lemon itself into quarters, but keep the one end attached. So you've got sort of 4 slits in it. Squeeze the lemon juice into a jar, fill it with salt, mix it all together until it's almost like a little bit like a watery paste. And what I'll do with the extra lemons from getting the rind off of the lemon for a cocktail is because the lemon juice is still fine. I'll cut the lemon in half and I'll stick the lemon juice in with the rest of the preserved lemons to keep it good for longer. Because what it'll do, what you want to do is keep the liquid mixture above the solids, above the rinds, So, and that's what the lemon juice can do, is it'll keep that ratio good as things sort of evaporate. But you essentially use the rinds of the lemons. The rinds of the lemons get really soft and salty and mellow, and sort of kind of funky because it ferments. And it's really good. Like, I put it in almost everything. Like, I'll put it in like vegetable dips and stews and all sorts of things. I put it in I used part of one in a martini once, because it was lemony and salty.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was very good. So yeah, and I've done it with Meyer lemons too, and Meyer lemons are fun because they're super, super funky.
Have we driven away most of the listeners yet?
We've scared everybody.
No, there's 12 people here.
There's
Alex
still
asked
12 people here?
Alice asked if I ever made lemon curd. I've never actually made lemon curd, but Dave's dear wife, Pat, has, I believe, right? Pat, we're right, Dave?
She may have. I know that we have had lemon curd here before, and she makes lots of great stuff.
That was visiting lemon curd.
Oh, yes, it was. Yeah, Robert, I have to paint these mushrooms. I want them to look pretty cool and funky. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with them.
Are those mushrooms that you sculpted, Dave, or were
No,
those
they
part
actually
of
came with the kit.
All right.
They did come with the kit. But one thing I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to add, I'm just doing an underpainting in browns and greens and tans for the rocks and the soil and the grass and the skull. And once everything is painted out here, then I will, not tonight, but I will add, lots of fake grass, tufts of fake grass. I've got rope downstairs. I'll cut some of that up into little sections, and have that sticking out. But I want to make these mushrooms look really cool. And there's a little spot here where I think I'm going to pour some resin.
I have to say,
or water.
Good night to Daniel. He's on Eastern Standard Time, and
Daniel's out.
He's heading off to bed.
Oh yeah, he does have to. Hey, thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, continue, Dave.
I don't think there's much more to say other than that. There's not much more I can do with it other than painting the mushrooms and starting to add the fake grass. And like I said, I'm going to pour some resin in this little divot right here, so it looks like a little pool of water, and I'm going to have something sticking out of that. But yeah, it's a simple kit, and I just by sculpting some texture back into the seams and then roughing them up with my modeling tools, it makes them look a little more careworn now, and I think it improves the model that way. But it's a fun one, and I wish you could see it a little better, but obviously you kind of get the idea, right? Yeah, and when I'm done with it, when I'm actually happy with it, I'll probably post a couple of shameless self-promotional photographs of it.
Well, my question is don't you have on our profile on the website a picture of that up there? I mean, obviously it's not completed.
I don't know. I might.
But I think you might have a picture of it right now.
Perhaps so. Hey, Daniel. Let's see. Daniel says tune in to show at 6 p.m. tomorrow to see his blind taste test.
Yep. Will do.
And then, so Dan's at Master Shake Cocktails on Twitter, or Master Shake on Twitter, and then he's got a YouTube channel as well. And he's doing something before Joe Bob and Darcy tomorrow. Yay! Which is very exciting. So I guess if he gets them wrong, so he gets punched if he gets them wrong, and then makes a great punch that was served when the Titanic sank. Ooh, interesting. And the debut of Mrs. Shake, Dan's wife Miranda, is going to be on. Yay! Okay, that'll be very fun.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, so we got lots of stuff going on here.
Great. And then James will be punching out soon too. He's from the East Coast. Thanks for joining us. We'll do this again soon. This has been very fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dan, I wish it was easier to find some of these kits now.
At least fun for us.
Yeah.
This has been very fun.
Yeah, really, seriously, very, very, very cool. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like mixing paint now for I'm trying to remember what Kurt Russell's coat looked like.
That's
Well,
the beauty of the internet, isn't it?
See, exactly.
Need to see in the thing.
That's like I got that Night of the Living Dead game about 2 months ago.
Yes.
Mhm.
And somewhere, although you can find them multiple places, there were some pictures, some photographs that were taken during production, color
Yeah.
photographs of the cast and crew. The movie, of course, is in black and white, but there's color photographs of the cast, so
Yep.
you can know what the actual colors of their clothing were.
Oh,
So when painting the miniatures, you can know. Now, of course, the two of the male leads are wearing, dark trousers and a white business shirt, but
Well, it is
know,
1969.
yeah.
So.
But the other stuff like now I can't read. Oh, Mark, what's the? That's really sad. That should be that. I would fail my trivia. What's
that?
What's the character's name?
I'm coming to get you, Barbara.
Barbara, yeah. So like Barbara, I think, if I recall correctly, is wearing a yellow dress. So
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
yeah. No, I'm like trying to get like I've been mixing colors to get like flesh tone and like all the different colors. So this is the shade of brown I'm looking for. Robert says that he has to run too. We call you friends too.
Oh, that's
yes,
very
absolutely.
That's very sweet. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, we feel quite the same.
Yeah, none of us. I mean, obviously Scott and Mary and I have met, but the vast majority of us have not, and maybe never actually will in person. But that's kind of the beauty of this medium. We can hang out like this, and I enjoy it. It's good. So thanks for hanging out, and
Thank you.
thanks for being a maker too. We need
Yeah.
lots of makers out there.
Yeah, everyone go check out Robert's channel on YouTube because it's wonderful and he does a lot of cool stuff. And I very much envy his workshop.
Oh, no kidding. Good Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's like, I think this has been.
Uh-oh. Come to attention, class.
Are we doing cheers?
Yes. Oh, no, that was me just cleaning up my cup, but sure, what the hell, why not? To those who've had to leave early, not those who've had to leave, who stuck with us this long, I should say, and to those who are still here, cheers.
Cheers.
Indeed. Cheers.
It's got that ecto cooler flavor.
Okay. Just for a second, put your glass back up to the camera again.
Sure.
Mine looks much different than yours.
Mine is green.
Mary's
Mine looks like swan water.
Mary's looks very thin. Dave's look really green.
Oh, it is really green. There's a little extra blue curacao and a little extra Midori because I love those guys.
And I have to say, when I look at mine, you probably can't see it on the camera.
To absent friends, indeed.
But,
absent friends.
But I don't know. Anyway, if I look at it closely, it looks like there's pieces of mold.
Wow. No, it's not mold.
Okay.
Hey, Katie says there are different types of ghosts trapped in each one. You know what? That makes as much sense as anything.
No, I know what's in mine is particulate from particulate. all the little bits from the citrus.
Oh, that makes sense.
I like the word particulate, so that was
yes.
You get points for using that.
As do I.
Intellectualizes everything.
Yeah.
But no, I think speaking of sort of the friends on the internet thing, I really feel like the Mutant fam and all of our horror friends have been like truly the highlight of like 2020. Which when we were talking about 2020, it was like, oh, it was a bad year. It's like things are still as they were. Not much has changed.
Not much has changed. Yep.
Well, and it's still been such a source of an emotional boost.
Agreed.
Yeah. Although we've made one significant change that's made me feel a whole lot better. So
thank God.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been one significant change.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well.
But I gotta say, I'm really.
I hope that all of Florida. I hope that all of our friends in Florida know that we love them, and then they should come up here because Florida and the former president who lived there can just fall into the sea, and that would be fine.
Yeah. Well,
I
maybe-
have my grandmother, who I'm named after. She's Mary Josephine. I'm Mary Catherine. And she said, she emails me every now and again. We email back and forth. And she talks about how much she lives in a retirement home because she's in her 80s, and she's like, all of these old men love Trump, but I don't know why. And she's like, watches CNN, very liberal, but it's so funny to hear her talk about her fellow retirees who are down there, because she's not very generous with her estimation of them, and I think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough of politics.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
We could do religion. We could do sex. What else is there?
Oh, let's do religion, obviously. I think
Boy.
we're all on the same page as far as religion goes, yes?
I'd say that's generally true.
Which is largely were either of you raised religious?
Not
No.
really.
I
Not
really wasn't.
Really?
No.
Okay, because I was raised like very Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
With the name like Mary, how can you?
Well,
Exactly.
it's
Just
very
praise Satan.
it's very interesting in that
Praise Satan, Tim says.
my dad got discharged out of the Navy during the Korean War a year early because he said, and actually he did go to seminary. So
Really?
yeah, so he went to seminary for 2 years and then transferred.
He saw the light.
So I don't know. I it was one of those things that growing up I was unaware of for most of my life.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. Although we did, we went to church. I wouldn't say we were regular churchgoers, and as I got older, it became less and less frequent.
Yeah.
But so there must have been something there, but unfortunately, my father is no longer with us, so I can't say what's the deal or what was the deal. So
Yeah. What made him change his focus or change his mind?
Unless it was purely a way to get out of the Navy a year early, which I doubt.
I have to admit, my first couple weeks in boot camp, if it occurred to me to say, you know what, I think I need to go to seminary right now, if that would have gotten me out, I probably would have went too. And then within a week, I would have realized I'd also made a bad decision. So
although my dad also, the reason he ended up in the Navy was that he knew somebody on the local draft board who said, you know what, your number's coming up, and my dad did not want to end up in the infantry, so he joined the Navy because his older brother had been his older brother had been in the Merchant Marine in World War II. So
sure.
Wow. So my grandfather, who passed away this past year in September, had something sort of the opposite, where he started in seminary. He grew up in Boston, and was a big enough of a Boston person that he, one, loved Sam Adams, two, loved Sam Adams enough to buy stock in it. So
wow.
Well, it's been so funny because my mom had to go. My mom was down there when he passed away, and she helped my Grammy settle his affairs. And she texted us and was like, I found out that Papa had stock in Sam Adams. So I was like, okay, I guess I should buy more Sam Adams.
There you go.
Which I thought was very funny because it's very true to who he was. He was a very funny guy, very sort of bristly, and again, very, very liberal. Loved Bill Maher, watched CNN. Just a cool guy all around. And he went to seminary, and because again, growing up as like a Boston Catholic, that was a big deal. And then right before he had to take his vows, because there's a couple sort of steps when you're in Catholic seminary, at least. And then he's like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And so he left and joined the Army during the 50s and was sent down to Georgia, where my Grammy was living. They met there at the bar that she was working at.
Wow.
which is fabulous. She was 19.
Wow.
So sort of similar, but the
Uh-huh.
opposite.
So Timothy says he doesn't like open water. I don't know how that came into the conversation, but
I want to know more about that. And also,
he says
open
water is not my jam. You know what?
Oh, like in the Navy.
Oh, in
Or
the
the Merchant Marine Navy.
Navy.
Go into,
Hey, that's a
yeah,
good title.
I'm with you.
That's a good title for a song.
Open water is not
No. In the Navy. It's an old Village People song.
Yeah, I thought that exists already. Oh, Dave, that looks great.
I was being lame.
like that.
So
It's getting there.
like
And
his
you know,
face.
let's see. What did
Yeah, Tim says, is Bill Maher liberal? I think that when my papa watched him, he thought he was liberal, but
well, he's liberal on some things and not so liberal on others.
It depends upon where you are on the spectrum, you know.
Yeah. That's
to
right.
pivot back to monster things, horror movie things, Bill Maher was in a Full Moon picture
Yes, he
back in the
was.
80s. Yeah, he was in oh my gosh, it's like
Tales from the Crypt.
yeah,
Really?
right? No, he wasn't in Tales from the Crypt. He was in
Oh, really?
no, he was in it's like the Cannibal Women of the Avocado Jungle or something like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, you know, I was thinking of oh damn it, Dennis Miller.
Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess you wouldn't call Maher a journalist, and Miller is a comedian or was comedian / actor.
Right.
So that makes a little bit more sense. I mean, Maher, I'm unaware of him. Maybe he was a comedian because he does sort of vaguely trek into that area, but I don't know. I don't care, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't watch him. I don't watch much news these days. I watch like Leslie Jones on Twitter react to the news because she's extremely funny.
Other than the past several days, I generally don't watch news much these days.
Okay.
I mostly watch old television shows from when I was a kid.
What old television show are you watching right now?
I'm not watching anything right now, but it's become
not at this very moment, but like, what's the most thing? What have you watched recently?
The two shows that I watch regularly, and I feel sad saying this because this just cements my personality as a really old person. I watch Perry Mason.
Oh, that did it.
And I would say about Perry Mason, Twilight Zone about half that time.
Oh, I do love Twilight Zone. Robert did a fun Twilight Zone thing for a while.
And then Mannix, which is apparently a favorite of Joe Bob. So I'm gonna hang my hat on that. Joe Bob likes Mannix, so I'm okay if I like Mannix. So.
That's right. If it's good enough for Joe Bob.
That's right.
Good enough for us.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this a little bit. I'm very excited for tomorrow. Because I actually like I enjoy Valentine's Day, kind of. I think it's really fun. Alex says that he loved watching The Time Tunnel, Land of the Giants, and The Invaders as a kid.
Invaders is a really good show, and I know in this day and age you can see almost anything anytime you want. I really like The Invaders. I'm not to cause any offense. I'm familiar with Land of the Giants. Not so big a fan of Land of the Giants, but you can make fun of me because I'm a bigger fan of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, which after the first year that show was on, it basically became Monster of the Week. So, hey, that's okay.
That's right.
I didn't watch a ton of TV growing up, so I like the serial show that my siblings and I ended up watching when
Yeah.
I was maybe 12 was Avatar: The Last Airbender was a big one for us because we watched it all together, which is a very good show. But the thing that I liked the most, I remember I would go. I don't know why my parents did this, but I would watch PBS, which was great. So we would watch Bill Nye the Science Guy, and all the other, all the rest of the programming that was on PBS. And then the other thing that I watched a lot of was the History Channel. And I remember I would go into the back. Do you remember the back section of the newspaper where they would have the TV guides in the newspapers?
Sure.
I would go into the back for the weekends for the History Channel and would see what they had. And I remember once we went camping and I was looking in the newspaper and I must have been 10, maybe. And I saw that they had a documentary about Nefertiti where they were looking at one of the bodies, one of the tombs in the Valley of the Kings, and we're trying to determine whether or not it was Nefertiti. And of course it was inconclusive because technology, even back, technology has expanded exponentially when it comes to this sort of stuff between when I was a child and now, which is very cool. But I remember we left it with enough time so that I could get back. So it was 9 on Sunday night. We got back in time so that I could watch it.
Would have been a lot easier if she'd been married with or buried with her ID.
Well, the one thing that I remember that they said was that they deliberately, or they deliberately, when she was buried, over time they either deliberately concealed her identity or all record of identity was removed as an offense.
Oh, I love that.
Right? As a way to erase her from history, essentially.
It's like those mummy movies with all the curses where they strike off the royal seal and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm loving that.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. But there's so little that's known about her that I find really fascinating. But there's so much conjecture. I don't know. I've been on a ancient Egyptian kick recently. One of our friends who lives in Missouri is an Egyptologist, and that's his training is as a doctor in Egyptology.
And as you know, we love ologists.
We do love ologists. I feel like, Scott, you are the supreme ologist out of all of the ologists.
Yes, clearly.
It's true. You're very distinguished. But we've been chatting a little bit. He's been posting some cool stuff. And then I've been rewatching the Brendan Fraser mummy movies because they're on HBO.
No.
And they're great. They're so fun.
Yeah, they're fun. Absolutely.
I think that they were, because that was what, in the 1999 and 2001 ish was The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. That was Universal's first attempt at rebranding at the monsters.
Right. We're not going to talk about the Scorpion King though. We're not going to talk about the Scorpion King.
I don't know if Tim's still on here, but Tim has opinions about the Scorpion King.
I have opinions about the Scorpion King.
Okay, the CGI wasn't great for the time because CGI wasn't great in 2001.
Yeah. So maybe they should have said, you know what? It's 1999. CGI is pretty crappy.
So
maybe we shouldn't make this movie.
What's really interesting is that so the CGI in Lord of the Rings, which is a similar era, they started filming in 99 or 98. They had been working on it since 97. I think it started filming in 99. It was released in 2001 or 2000, 2002, and 2004, I believe. In case you wanted to know.
Yes.
But now we're in Lord of the Rings territory. But the CGI in that, I think, holds up super well. And I have seen these movies over and over and over and over and over again. because even Gollum, which again people have opinions about, it feels very timeless. It's not overdone. It's very subtle. But the reason why it's so good is that they bought this technology because Peter Jackson was a monster kid. He did horror movies before this. He did Get Alive, and then the most recent film he had done was The Frighteners. And for The Frighteners, he had purchased, he and Fran and his wife are all of his colleagues in film who had worked on all of these films together. Had purchased this technology, the CGI technology, to do all the ghosts and things in The Frighteners, and they were like, "All right, how can we reuse it?" And so they used it in Lord of the Rings, and they did this very cool thing. He talked about it in an interview with Stephen Colbert recently, which is very cool. And you should all go check out that whole. There's a series of interviews, and then they added in more like cut footage recently, and this was in the cut footage where he was talking about all of this. And the way that they did all the battle scenes, they weren't actual people. They were essentially simulations where they did all of these CGI guys, and just like in D&D, they would set people up, or they'd set all of these little guys up with certain abilities on both sides, and then they would let them fight. And they would film it, and it would take like 24 hours, and then to collect all the data and to render and everything. And so they wouldn't know the outcome of what it looked like until the very end, with all these little computer guys fighting.
So Timothy and Katie, I'm completely with you. Yes, the Scorpion King is terrible, and Peter Jackson must have watched the Scorpion King and went, we're not going to do that kind of CGI because it's terrible.
They were doing. Peter Jackson was doing CGI before the Scorpion King was even in theaters.
Yeah, well, Scorpion King is like Scorpion King, and in the history realm, Gods and Generals. These are the keystones of terrible CGI. So we won't.
I have friends who worked on Gods and Generals, and I'm not proud of it.
Well. How can anyone know? How could anybody working on that film know until it was done?
Well,
I thought I was going to be in a good movie, or at least an average movie, and then the CGI looks like, Phil in the 4th grade did it.
Oh, the one movie that I did costuming on that shall not be named. It was so bad.
It's a secret movie.
A secret movie with Jason Isaacs and friends.
Yes. Only produced for a select group of people.
Oh my God. It's called Field of Lost Shoes, and it's a horrendous movie. A horrendous Confederate apologist movie. That we didn't I got a text from a friend who worked in film and history who was like, "Hey, can you you can sew? Can you help me for these few days?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I was 20 and in college and needed money to pay for rent. Sure. So drove down to Lexington.
I'm sure it was fun. Wasn't it fun, Mary?
It was a fun experience. It was interesting. I got to, I sewed a bazillion dresses. I got a credit in the movie. It was good. It was fun. I got to meet famous people. I don't know. Fame doesn't do anything for me, unfortunately.
That's well, no, okay. So the point is, you had, even though the movie was terrible, you had a fun time doing it.
Yes. But the movie was really bad, and we didn't know it because you don't get the script beforehand, and so we didn't know what was going to be done. Okay,
without naming the movie that Dave and I were in, Dave and I had a great time doing that.
Oh, yes.
And there's at least one great actor in it.
You met him.
Yes, I met him. But the finished
say the name of the movie.
The finished product is maybe less than it could have been. I don't know. I hesitate slightly to say, just because periodically they talk about making a sequel, even though it's probably going to be just as good as the original, which means it's not going to be that great.
I still haven't seen it. It's called Zombies, right?
Yes. Yes, that's right.
I still haven't seen it, but I want to see it because you can see.
Well,
both
we'll
Lady
have to.
and Scott in it.
Dave, you have a DVD of it, don't you?
I just bought it
Does
through
Robert
Amazon.
Curtis have a?
Oh, I have a DVD of it. So
Oh, so we can watch it with you.
yeah, well, Dave and I are in the movie together.
Yes.
Meaning, even though we might not be standing together, probably a total of 45 seconds.
But there is a shot with both of you in it. I remember that.
Yes, and that's probably like 3 seconds, if that.
See, that's really sweet.
Yeah, well,
Well, we got pizza out of it, so
that's right. And we got to meet Ryan, who turned out to
Yes.
be
pretty cool
somebody
guy.
you need to know.
A
So
wonderful friend.
yeah. So it was a positive experience. I went 3 weekends in a row, so I had a great time.
Yeah, everybody wants to be a zombie. I'd be a zombie.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if I had known in advance, even if somebody had said, "This is going to be a terrible movie," I would have still done it. So.
Well, I think it also depends. I don't know. There's so much that happens on the back end of film that the people who are doing the art, like who are actually creating the film, doesn't necessarily. They're two separate things, right? So, for example, like you can create incredibly beautiful costumes and dresses and still have a really, really racist narrative. Like these things can all. It's so hard. Well, and I think it's harder. Like it's one thing with monster movies. It's a different thing with historical films where like things are being replicated, and it's where it's like a real life thing. And
Right.
I don't know. I have lots of opinions about historical films as you both know.
Well,
Shelley.
the other thing that, and of course we try to say this in some form or another at the end of every podcast is, and I would say this holds true for historical films, or at least for most of the people working on historical films. It's like, most of the people involved in filmmaking work hard and, put their blood, sweat, and tears into these things. And even if, years later, decades later, viewers may look at this film and go, yeah, this is pretty crappy. Well, these people, most of them made their best effort, and
Correct.
so yeah, I mean, I'm not adverse to saying, well, this is a pretty terrible movie, but I appreciate the fact that at least most of those people at the time that the film was made, were doing their best work, or close to their best work. I don't know if everybody working on an Ed Wood film thought this is going to be the best film we've ever made. But I still appreciate those films nonetheless. That movie we watched, Bride of the Monster.
Right.
That was an Ed Wood film. It was entertaining. We had a good time watching it, but it was more entertaining in a different way than watching Creatures from the Black Lagoon would be entertaining. It's not the same.
Right. Oh, Tim wants to know, where was that?
Oh
Mary,
God, on the
Mary Stutzman,
Patriot.
Patriot.
Do you really?
We could all talk about the Patriot.
Oh my God.
I could go on and on about how it portrays the British, but I'm going to step away for a moment and try and subdue my rage. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Wow.
One Mel Gibson. Okay. Is that enough? How you want me to say? I think. Okay. Tim. I also gotta say I loved The Patriot as a kid. They would show the whole the Mel Gibson trio, which was We Were Soldiers, The Patriot, and Braveheart on TCM or AMC or one of the channels, and I would watch them all the time or whenever they were on, and I really enjoyed it. I think that as I got older, very rah-rah America films, especially military films, struck a different chord with me because actual actual military combat is a different thing than what they were showing. Although there was a lot of cool tricks they did with the Patriot. I don't know. I haven't seen it enough recently to like really say I hate it or I like it. You know what I mean? It's so hard to say. There's so many things that are, I don't know. Dave, back me up. Like there's so many things that you can say that are like you can say so many nice things about a film because there's like they did some really cool stuff. Like there's some really neat technical things. I definitely don't discount like anytime a film gets someone interested in history, like I can never throw that out. You know what I mean?
I agree.
If it's a starting point for anybody, that's good for me in my like day job. Like that's good for what we do. And Tim says, but Heath Ledger though, in the costumes, also he stabbed a man with an American flag. Also, everything you said about growing older on these is tough. Interesting. Why? Like I think I don't know. I think that like for me at least, like my opinion changes over time, and I think for me it wasn't so much growing older, and it was more like being trained as a historian that adjusted how I saw a lot of things when it comes to history specifically. I don't know, but I think I do not care for Mel Gibson as a person. I will say that, but I think that any film that gets someone interested in the past or interested in history or some element of it, I can never fully knock it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Tim, does that make sense? And the other thing too, I like the soundtrack an awful lot. The costumes were not great, but the soundtrack was wonderful.
Well, and we've talked about the phenomenon of having people who have questionable character or viewpoints or things like that, but create art that is worth watching or worth reading or worth listening to.
Right.
So we could go through a litany of those people, and we have on various episodes. So, I mean, I can watch films with people who are terrible human beings, but if they're decent actors or actresses, it's like, okay, I know this.
Oh, go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
No, that's all I was going to say. I mean, I'm not a big fan of The Patriot, but on the other hand, there are other films that Mel Gibson has made that, I think are pretty good. And he does a good job in them as far as the role he's portraying, but I still know he's a terrible person.
Yeah, I did like Heath Ledger an awful lot. I think the whole Tarleton thing was a little maudlin. Like there were like the Jason Isaacs character was based on a real guy, but he wasn't dastardly in the way that they portrayed him in the film.
Well, in the film, he was like a cardboard.
Again, I won't even talk about the way they portrayed the British in this film. That was the central part of the area where I was like, I can remember.
Are you a royalist?
No, I'm not. But this movie was
maybe a little bit.
This movie was almost enough to turn me into one, because I was like, I remember watching this the first time and going, well, this is pretty ridiculous. I can't imagine anything like this happening.
You have to remind yourself that this is a Roland Emmerich film too.
Yeah, and again, it's like with so many historically based films, they're not making this film for historians.
No, not at all.
They're making it for a general audience, and it's like, yeah, we know that they didn't have buttons like this, or we know that they didn't do this or wear, this kind of fringe on their uniform. But it's not for you, history geek. So shut the fuck up.
This is why I get very nervous. I get very nervous whenever anyone asks me to watch a historical film and let me know what they think, because I am terrified that I'm like I have to like check myself on whether or not I'm being pedantic. Because I think I'm pretty good at this though. I think I'm better than most people that like historians that I know. I'm better than I think I have a higher tolerance for for things that aren't accurate because it's more about the story. But
no, Katie, the royalists were not wearing Uggs. You're correct. That was one of my that was one of my chief complaints.
Touche, Katie. Touche.
Yeah. Hey, I hate to bring it to everybody's attention, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mary, but I should note that we had put the deadline for our prattling, rambling, model painting, miniature painting at 10 o'clock, I believe. And we are 5 minutes away from that deadline, and I'm sure that all of those poor remaining souls that are watching and or listening to us have probably reached the end of their tether and would bless us if we ended their misery shortly.
That's a good
shortly.
Indubitably, sir.
Yes. Clearly.
Well, I'm going to suggest that we all try to pull something like this off again in maybe a few more weeks, maybe in March.
Yeah, what about the first week in March? And how about we make it a big Zoom call and everyone can call in with their projects?
I think it'd be great.
There's an
That would be really fun. Or we could even do, if we wanted to, because we can record the Zoom call if we wanted to post it somewhere, if anyone ever wanted to watch it again.
That's true.
What's nice about StreamYard is that it automatically goes to the YouTube. Although I want to figure out what was happening earlier, or silly Luddite issues.
Why we had 2 channels?
Yeah, I don't know what was happening.
I don't know. You got me.
Anyways, well, we figured it out.
So,
Yay!
as long as we've got 4 minutes left, is somebody aware of, or maybe you, Dave and Mary, are aware of this? Is there somebody doing a group watch for Last Drive-In tomorrow?
I think that Daddy Man is doing a show.
Okay.
Obviously, Dan Master Shake is doing a show as well. I might hop on with Mick, maybe at the knob. There's some folks who are doing that too.
Okay.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I haven't checked my phone in a long time.
It may have been announced a long time ago, and I've simply forgotten. So.
But then I think for the group watch, I think it's sort of the usual of we all everyone tweets along.
Yeah, everyone's just tweeting along en masse on Twitter. So yeah, that makes sense. And if you do hashtag Last Drive-In or hashtag.
Yes, and the other thing too, because I am very excited about this. I ordered a union suit.
Yeah.
It's set to arrive tomorrow.
Nice, Mary. So that's what you're going to wear?
Is that what you're going to wear?
Because it's red. It's like, I was like, what can I do that's like Valentine-y? And so I think I'm going to do the union suit.
Okay, so.
Not that anyone else besides
Okay, Mary.
Besides the people on the internet are going to see this. Like, I'm not trying to impress anyone.
I know.
But it does have a butt flap.
Yay!
Are you going to demonstrate it?
No.
Well, then what's the point of bringing it up?
I shan't demonstrate the butt flap. I'm not.
I'm doing this to put you on the spot.
I will not be entertaining folks for free this evening.
See, I just did that to put you on the
she
spot.
said for free, Scott. Did you hear that?
Yeah, throw me $5. I'll show you my butt. Are you kidding me?
Okay, all right.
No, all right. 15.
Okay.
Oh, hell, I would easily pay $5.
All right, you got $30 right here, man.
No, that didn't sound right. What I was trying to say was I would gladly accept $5 to show my butt.
Yeah, Dave's going to be the one to show it off.
That's right.
Well, I think we should all do it.
We're not getting any takers. So.
Okay. Well, if I show people my butt, you guys got to show people.
Okay, I'll do that. You would never. Yes, I would. If you did, sure.
I would never. So you would never.
No, no.
Like, not on the internet. That shit lives forever. Although I go back and forth with some of this stuff where it's like, ooh, like how cool would that be? Like, I think if I was me now, 28-year-old Mary, and I saw that my mom at age 28 had posted a picture of her butt on the internet, I'd be like, fuck yeah, mom. Like,
Yeah, sure.
I would be very proud of her.
Exactly. It's not like showing other parts of your anatomy. So
People from work follow me on the internet, and I would rather just not deal.
All right. There we go. There's the ultimate buzzkill right there.
Okay, Buzz Killington.
Yeah.
So it's not that I wouldn't, it's that I just don't want to deal with
Hey, thanks.
any potential fallout.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm old. It doesn't matter. Oh, thanks, Tim. Tim's up for it. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, Tim.
I think
Yeah.
Tim's trying to call Tim's trying to call my bluff.
Maybe if we did it on like closed circuit or something like that, so.
How about if I just show you? How about if I show you Frankie's? Here's Frankie's butt. How's that?
That's
Does that
not,
work for you?
not only that, it's a plastic one. So.
Alex says, "Monster, we happy hour OnlyFans coming soon."
Oh my God,
So
that would be the absolutely worst OnlyFans ever.
I didn't know that you guys knew what that was.
I know what it is.
Some of the people who follow us have those accounts.
Yes, that's right. In fact, I would say a good percentage of the people that follow us.
Yeah, how is that possible? Tim really wants to see some skin. Oh dear.
Well, I mean, we gotta support everybody.
Okay, actually, that would be hilarious if we set up an account like that, and then we could do that.
I am.
Although I think though, I read an article today that was like, sex work is not a trend.
No.
No,
clearly.
Although I don't think, nothing against us, I don't think we'd be taking away. Income from anybody.
Yeah, I'm reasonably certain the industry would not collapse because of us.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think you're right. Yeah, no one would be hurting because of us. So, well, I hate to be the wet blanket, as I often am. But, it's 10 o'clock now, and that means we're supposed to say goodbye to everyone who's watching us and wasted all this time.
Nice. We all had a fun night together.
Oh, by the way, because it's in my mind, and before I forget, so if you're getting this red union suit, and I know you're often already wear red lipstick, but you're going to have to paint your nails then between now and tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to paint them. No. I'm going to paint them, Scott. I'm going to paint them the red that you gave me. Scott gave me nail polish. That's red nail polish, and but the jar or the bottle is shaped like a skull.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Well, you guys are listen. Read these comments. This is really sweet.
Oh, this is really sweet.
You guys are really, really nice to. You humored us.
Yeah.
That was very sweet of you. So thanks. We really appreciate it, and
we do. And we didn't know
what to doing it again. Yeah.
We had no idea what to expect. So
nope.
I'm glad you didn't find this too boring, or at least you were diplomatic to say that it wasn't too boring. So.
Exactly. they were very kind to us. So
well, here's an idea. What if we sign off with our typical, our usual sign off, which is let us raise a glass to all the folks who bring us the movies.
Here.
We appreciate all of your hard work, and raise a glass to the mutant fam. We appreciate your friendship.
Oh.
And to all those people that were here tonight.
Completely.
And to all of you here tonight.
Cheers.
And we look forward to chatting with all of you tomorrow night. So
indeed.
Take care.
Yes.
Cheers.
Bye.
That monster growl there.